we have to study one law which is stated by physicist Hooke, and that law is Hooke's law. So that we have to study now. So Robert Hooke, who is physicist, astrologist, inventor of UK, he stated one law of elasticity, and according to his law, within the elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to strain, or we can say, provided that elastic limit is not crossed, is not exceeded, deformation produced in the body is directly proportional to applied force. Now what it means? Now we explain this. Within elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to strain. It means stress is directly proportional to strain. So we can write, instead of proportionality sign, one constant, that is m into strain. So m is equal to stress divided by strain, and this m is called modulus of elasticity. It is one constant and which is called modulus of elasticity. So modulus of elasticity is defined as the ratio of stress to strain, but it is within elastic limit. What it means? If we apply large applied force, large amount of applied force, deformation is large. If we apply small deforming force, deformation is small. But all this should be in the elastic limit. There is one condition: if elastic limit is exceeded, then this is not possible. So what is elastic limit? That we have to see afterwards. So this m is modulus of elasticity. Now as stress is directly proportional to strain, if we plot graph of this stress to strain, graph of stress versus strain, if we plot, this graph is a straight line passing through origin. And if we, here on y-axis there is stress, on x-axis there is strain, and if we plot graph of stress versus strain, then the graph of this is straight line passing through origin. And if we take slope of this graph, slope of such a type of graph is constant, and that constant is again called modulus of elasticity. So we can define this modulus of elasticity in another way. The slope of stress versus strain graph is also called modulus of elasticity. Slope of stress versus strain graph is also called modulus of elasticity, because the graph is straight line passing through origin and this graph is having constant slope. That means this slope is again called as modulus of elasticity. Now what is elastic limit? All this is possible in elastic limit only. So what is elastic limit? So maximum stress up to which this stress is directly proportional to strain. Maximum stress up to which this stress is directly proportional to strain is called elastic limit. And if elastic limit is exceeded, stress is not directly proportional to strain. So this modulus of elasticity is the ratio of stress by strain, and it depends on nature of the material there. How is the material? How is, for example, material is steel, its modulus of elasticity is something, and if we take another material, for example copper, its modulus of elasticity is different. So it depends on nature of material, how is the material there, how is the type of material is there, and on that it depends there. So modulus of elasticity is ratio of stress by strain. So its SI unit is, its SI unit is again SI unit of stress, that is Newton per meter square. And dimensions of this modulus of elasticity are same as dimensions of stress. Yesterday in the last class we calculated dimensions of, we determined dimensions of stress there, and those are like this, force upon area divided by L or anything there. So dimensions of stress are F by A, dimensions of F are M1 L1T minus 2 divided by again L2. So these are dimensions of modulus of elasticity. So this is all about Hooke's law. Robert Hooke stated one law of elasticity. Within elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to strain. Means we can understand if this is increased, this also increases. If this is decreased, this also decreases. We can understand. And the ratio of these two things is modulus of elasticity. And if we plot graph is a straight line passing through a region whose slope is constant, and that constant is again called, that slope is again called as modulus of elasticity there. So this is all about your modulus of elasticity. So as deformation may be in length, maybe in change of volume, maybe in change of shape, so these moduli of elasticity are also of three types. So these three types are Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and shearing modulus, or we can say it as modulus of rigidity. So when deformation is in length, modulus of elasticity is called Young's modulus. It is represented by symbol Y there. Now symbols for these terms are different in different books. So we should only concentrate on concept. Symbols are different in different books there. So what is Young's modulus now? Actually when deformation is in length, modulus of elasticity is called Young's modulus. Now for that again we consider one cylindrical wire there, and to the free end of this cylindrical wire we apply some force, that is mg. Original length of the wire is L. Now when force is applied to this wire, this wire gets elongated again, and elongation produced in the wire is small l. Original length of the wire is L. Elongation produced in small l. Because this wire is cylindrical nature, is in cylindrical nature, its area of cross section is pi r square if r is the radius of the wire there. So area of cross section is pi r square, original length of the wire is L. When we apply some force to the free end of the wire, elongation produced is small l there, and then final length of the wire is L plus L, elongation produced is small l. So as we studied, what is strain in this case? It is longitudinal strain, and this longitudinal strain is equal to change in length divided by original length. So change in length in this case is small l, as already we studied, and original length is L. So longitudinal strain is L by L. Now how is longitudinal stress? Longitudinal stress is applied force divided by area. So applied force is F and area is A. So this is your longitudinal stress. Now what is Young's modulus? Young's modulus is the ratio of longitudinal stress to longitudinal strain. It is the ratio of longitudinal stress to longitudinal strain. Now as we know longitudinal stress, we put values of those into this ratio, and what will happen? We got Young's modulus as Y as longitudinal stress upon longitudinal strain, and we can write it as F divided by A divided by small l divided by capital L. Now what will happen here? After simplification of this, we will get F into L divided by L into A, as F into L divided by A into L. Now we know that F is mg and L is original length there, area is pi r square, and extension or elongation produced is L. So Young's modulus Y is having formula mgl divided by pi r square L. What is m? Load applied to the free end of the wire. What is g? Acceleration due to gravity. What is L? Original length of the wire. Pi is constant, r is radius of the wire, and small l is elongation produced in the wire. So this is all about your Young's modulus. Now this Young's modulus is the property of solids only, because deformation in length can take place in solids like metallic rod, metallic wire, etc., etc. And that's why Young's modulus is the property of solid only. Now this Young's modulus measures the resistance offered by these elastic solids. This Young's modulus is the property of elastic solids, and this Young's modulus offers or measures the resistance offered by elastic solids to elongation as well as compression. Now if we take different materials like steel, like copper or glass, etc., etc., or we compare steel and rubber there. So in these two things, Young's modulus of steel is more and Young's modulus of rubber is less. So Young's modulus of steel is more, so steel is more elastic than rubber. Our feeling is that rubber is more elastic, but it is not the case. Steel is more elastic than rubber. Another reason why this steel is more elastic than rubber is when steel has some deformation after application of force, this steel regain to its original configuration immediately than rubber, and that's why steel has more elastic nature than rubber. Question may be asked there. So what is SI unit of this Young's modulus? SI unit of Young's modulus is again same as that of stress, that is Newton per meter square, and dimensions of this Young's modulus are similar to dimensions of stress there. So this is all about your Young's modulus. Young's modulus is the modulus of elasticity related to change in length of the material body. So it offers or it measures the resistance which that elastic solids produce to elongation as well as to compression. That is more important thing. So the material whose Young's modulus is more elastic. That's all. So this is all about Young's modulus. Now another modulus of elasticity is when deformation is in volume, and that is bulk modulus. Actually it is represented by symbol K there. It is represented by symbol K. So K is bulk modulus. So again I told you already that these symbols are different in different places, at different places. So bulk modulus is the ratio of actually volume stress to volume strain, because I told you that when deformation is in volume, the modulus of elasticity or elastic constant is bulk modulus, and when deformation is in volume, then we can say that there is volume stress, there is volume strain, and ratio of these two things is bulk modulus. For this again we take example of that rubber bladder, or we can say that there is one solid, we take some another example there, and this solid is kept in this liquid there. Now when this solid is kept in this liquid exerts force to this solid by each side there, and because of that volume of this decreases, and if original volume of this is V, we again say that volume decreases by dV, and final volume of this is V minus dV. There is decrease in volume because of application of force from each sides there. Now again, as we studied, volume strain is the ratio of change in volume to original volume. So change in volume in this case is dV and original volume is V. Actually there is a minus sign again. Minus sign indicates that there is decrease in volume, and strain should be always positive, and that's why numerically we say that this is dV by V, etc., etc. So this is your volume strain. Now what is volume stress? Volume stress is applied force upon area. Applied force divided by area. So applied force in this case is F. Area is, suppose we say A, then F by A means it is dP. Why we write here dP? Because from external side if pressure at external side if pressure is P, and at internal side if pressure is suppose P0, then difference of these two things is dP. That is change in pressure, means F by A, and that's why we write dP here, not P only. So this is your volume stress. Now what is bulk modulus then? Bulk modulus is the ratio of volume stress to volume strain. So bulk modulus is equal to volume stress divided by volume strain. So volume stress is dP and volume strain is dV by V. So what it comes now? V dP divided by dV is bulk modulus. So bulk modulus is the modulus of elasticity related to change in volume. Again, SI unit of this is Newton per meter square, or we can say Pascal, and dimensions of this are same as dimensions of stress. So bulk modulus is V dP by dV. It is the ratio of volume stress to volume strain. So this bulk modulus is the property of gases, liquids as well as solids. Now it measures the resistance. It measures the resistance to change in volume. Resistance offered to change in volume. So this bulk modulus, it is a property of gases, liquids and solids, I already said, and it measures resistance offered by these gases, liquids and solids for the attempt made for change in volume. So this is all about your bulk modulus. And now third modulus of elasticity. Third modulus of elasticity related to change in shape is called modulus of rigidity, or it is also called as shearing modulus. So this modulus of rigidity is represented by letter eta there. It is represented by symbol eta, and I told you that this is elastic constant related to change in shape of the material body. Again for this we take example of that metallic cube or cube, and this cube is having length as L. This cube, each side of this cube is having length as L there, capital L. And we know that bottom of this cube is fixed there, length of each side is L. I give name here. Suppose this is A, B, C, D, E, F, and this is A, B, C, D, or we can say it as, 1 minute, A, B, C, D, and this is E, F, G, H. Now bottom of this cube is fixed. Now here, as we apply tangential force to this top surface, what happens? This point H becomes H a dash, lateral displacement is H a dash, then here angle produced is theta there, etc., etc. And this shearing strain, we already calculated or already derived formula for this, and it is equal to H dash divided by He, that is delta x divided by L. And shearing stress, that is equal to applied force upon area, and modulus of rigidity is the ratio of shearing stress to shearing strain. So what is shearing stress? Shearing stress is F divided by A. And what is this shearing strain? Shearing strain is Fx delta x by L, and we call it as theta, or it is equal to theta, as already we studied that, and instead of shearing strain now I put theta. So finally modulus of rigidity is F by A theta. What is F? That is the force which is applied tangentially to the top surface. What is A? Area of cross section where the force is applied. And what is theta? Shear produced here. That means it is shearing strain, and it is equal to actually delta x by L. So this modulus of rigidity is also having unit as Newton per meter square. Its dimensions are similar to dimensions of stress, and it is the property of solids only. And this modulus of rigidity measures the resistance offered by these solids to change in shape. So this is all about modulus of rigidity, and in this class, in this way, we studied three elastic constants: Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and modulus of rigidity. The remaining part we will see in the next class. Thank you.